Good morning and welcome back to 78 Reflections. My name is Patty Elaine, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. If you haven't been part of the journey, over the last 32 days, I have done a series of Wobble readings using the Shadowland Tarot to represent the energy, one card on either side of a three-card spread to represent the competing energies that are showing up, and then in the middle, a card from the wild unknown to represent a really good question to help me navigate these energies. And this has all been part of a phase of a 111-day project that I am engaged in with a really good friend of mine to work towards more self-care, better management of resources, and just to improve our overall well-being. And so this last phase was 33 days, ending today with the final spread. And that is this 10-card Modified Celtic Cross. I did record a video of how I selected the cards, but there's no sound to it, so I have to let that go. And so here I've just laid out the cards with the stickies for the question that I was asking. So we're going to walk through this together. And the overall question for the spread is, at the end of this 33-day period, if you listen to my last video, you'll know that, we're both feeling pretty discouraged and pretty disheartened and not really sure where to go forward. And the cards we received, I don't think I have them here, but the cards we received for the last spread were the card in the middle on how to navigate forward was the Fool. And so I'm really taking that mindset into this reading today, where the question is how to move forward. And so the Celtic Cross questions are going to lead us through, what's the heart of the matter going into this last phase of the project. This card actually belongs here, but for the sake of clarity and seeing it on the screen, I put it over to the side. This is what crosses the heart of the matter, what's influencing it. And then we have what is under, what is above, what is behind, what is ahead. And then the last four questions, which would usually go up the side, but I don't have room to do that, is 7 is the lessons. What am I learning? 8 is path. Where am I at on my journey? 9 is advice. What do I need to know? And 10 is the outcome. So I hope that sounds interesting to you. And if it does, maybe pause the video and grab a coffee or tea or your beverage of choice, because I think this might be a long one. So with that, let's just jump right in. The first card represents what is at the heart of the matter. And we have the Strength card. So Strength is a major arcana card, which represents a major life lesson. This is the 8. And for me, the Strength card represents unwavering resolve, persistence, patience, an ability to thrive in less than ideal circumstances. Often in the Waite-Smith, you'll see a human with a lion or some other animal that's difficult to tame. And so it's about the gentle touch that is required and the perseverance to have a peaceful relationship with them. And in this image, we have two aspects of one person represented by the two heads, one being strong and one gentle. And when we think of where the Strength card lies in the Fool's journey through the major arcana, Strength follows the Chariot, which seems very fitting for this placement at a heart of the matter. Given the last 32 days, I've been doing a series of Wobble readings inspired by the Chariot card. And the Charioteer's mission is to navigate forward despite competing energies. After journeying, the Charioteer rests and contemplates strength. And we have this lovely two-headed Shadowland creature welcoming us One half represents perseverance, a calm nature. The other represents unrestricted natural instincts, as well as physical strength and endurance. Both halves fully accepting and joyful to work in tandem to achieve a balance between patience and strength. So the key words are persistence, patience, resilience. The shadow side of the strength card is impatience, aggression, apathy, and laziness. The key to the strength card is embracing all parts of self, even the parts you might not want to acknowledge, the parts you want to push down, or you reject either because you don't find them to be good qualities, or maybe you think others don't think they are good qualities. And for anyone who's been consistently told they are too much, like me, this card may especially resonate. So the cross card, so usually this card would go across like this, and that is what is influencing the heart of the matter. And I'm just going to put it beside for ease. And this is the Ace of Swords. So the Ace of Swords is about clarity, potential. It can be an aha moment. Swords are thoughts, ideas, perceptions, and they represent the air element. And in this image, we have a beautiful feather. So a hand is offering this feather from the universe. And the key words are discovery, fresh ideas, fresh perspective. And the shadow side is stagnation or indecision. With strength at the heart of the matter, it calls for patience, resilience, compassion, and quiet determination. To me, strength is indicating that rather than pushing harder, it's about softening, staying present, and reframing this final phase from a gentler perspective, trusting the process. Keep going, use that, access that determination. And I think it also suggests that I have within me what it takes to keep going. And I also think a lot of these ideas would really be endorsed by the Fool. The softening, the gentler perspective, the moving forward, I often think of the Fool as kind of bumbling along. And I think that this card is suggesting an element of that. And then in its crossing position, this Ace of Swords presents a challenge or maybe a block to the Strength card. And I'm not surprised to see the Ace of Swords there because I've really been wanting clarity, a clear plan, a flash of insight for something to re-energize my motivation. And that's really feeling out of reach right now. And that's frustrating. I also think the Swords energy, when it's misaligned, can be hypercritical, perfectionist, and harsh. And this clashes with the gentle, compassionate vibe of the Strength card. So my high expectations and exacting standards around this project, rather than motivating me, are actually undermining my confidence. These cards together, I think, paint a picture of this need for courage and resilience, challenged by this desire for clarity, which is showing up as fatigue and apathy. Whew. So what is below? So this card, the third card, was under. So it represents the root of the matter. It represents something that's unconscious. And we have the Two of Cups. Well, isn't that a beautiful card to get in this spread? The Two of Cups is about connection, support, balance. It's tender, reciprocal energy. In this image, we have these two happy seahorses that are sharing time together and fancy cocktails. They represent a happy connection. And I think that at this position below, I think that what it's telling me is this 111-day project what's underneath is a longing for connection, a need to be emotionally met. The soft energy of this Two of Cups pairs beautifully with the strength at the heart of the matter. And it suggests that emotional integration is at the root of this journey, which makes a lot of sense to me because with being in kind of this partnership of my friend and I going along together, we've both agreed that the best part of it has been having the support of someone who is kind of walking a parallel path. So what is above? So what are the conscious or known issues? The Tower card. Okay. So the visible challenge or state of mind is the above card. Well, the Tower is about destruction of structures that have imprisoned us. And one of the mantras that I use with the Tower card, because I do find it very challenging, is I trust that what is destroyed clears the way for something better. Clears the way for growth, transformation, and alignment with my highest good. And in this image, we see this person is knocked from her home by a bolt of lightning, and she holds an umbrella in hopes that it will help her land safely. I don't know if that strategy is going to work, to be honest. So the Tower card in this position speaks volumes to me. It's a sense of breakdown, chaos, disruption. It reflects my conscious awareness of feeling disoriented, discouraged, and off track. It also tells me that the structure I've set up isn't effective. And I already know that. So the Tower can show up when expectations are shattered. But what it's really here to say is the structure you built was not sustainable. It was not serving you, and it's time to let it go. So while I never enjoy getting the Tower card, I think that is a pretty good position to experience it in because it's above, so I'm aware of it. And I do feel like I'm ready to let go of what's no longer serving me and start fresh. Hence the Fool card. So what is behind? So the card that is behind, it is usually representing what's coming to an end. It can also represent things from the past that we are carrying forward. So it can be a caution to let them be in the past. The Ten of Wands. So the Ten of Wands is a card that I get a lot. And I think it's interesting that the card in the past presents what I'm carrying, and it's not a surprise to see burden, the Ten of Wands, because this card is about taking on too much. It's about feeling overburdened. It's about holding the weight of expectations, carrying more than we need to, doing things the hardest possible way. And here we have this mouse carrying a load of firewood, and the apple on the top is symbolic of the need for joy and sunshine and not simply work. This card tells me that I am going into this last phase feeling tired and carrying a weight of unreasonable expectations. And it's time to set that load down. I don't need to carry that into the last 44 days. So what is ahead? The Moon. Oh, geez. So the Moon card in this position is kind of feels like a non-answer, because while the Moon is about an element of illumination, for me, the bigger message behind the Moon is the mystery, what's in the shadows. And it asks, what am I not seeing? So in this image, we have this young witch, if you can see her here, that's taking, I guess it's a crab, for a walk in the full moon. It represents a yearning for spiritual growth and knowledge. And you can see this wolf mask or dog mask on the moon. And in the guidebook, it talks about that it symbolizes the quality of the moon that can deceive us. We can't see clearly, and we don't know what is in the shadows. The moon, I think the moon asks us to test our perceptions on our quest, because the light and shadows can play tricks on us, and we have to make peace with the unseen and mysterious aspects of life. In the future position, the moon suggests that I will be navigating uncertainty, and the path will not likely be linear. It will require trust and embracing the unknown. The moon also invites a surrender into unknown, into not knowing, which I also think is the Fool. Which I also think is the Fool, which was the card. The Fool's going ahead. They don't know what's ahead, but they're going ahead anyway. And I think that's what the moon card is suggesting in that position. So let's go through these last 4 cards: lessons, path, advice, and outcome. So the lesson is, what am I learning? The Knight of Wands. So the Knight of Wands is energy, passion, purpose-driven, bold. In Lisa Pepez's book, Unlocking the Tarot, she uses a sliding scale for the court cards, which I really appreciate. And she suggests that the Knight of Wands is on a sliding scale from adventurous to reckless. And in this image, we have this passionate knight with fiery energy and a love for adventure. This card is an invitation to consider the passion and zest for life that you once felt. It's about spontaneity, expressing your passion. As a lesson, the Knight is an encouragement to reconnect with your spark, the flicker of inspiration that once lit the fire. So what was the inspiration in the first place? Try to re-access that inspiration to move forward, even when it's unclear. The path is unclear. It's dimly lit. Look at that moon. And so we want to be able to channel that energy, channel that inspiration, but also remember that this night can be scattered and ungrounded, burning hot and fast with his hair on fire and losing steam. So I think it's also a caution. The lesson is also, I think it's about accessing inspiration, but also recognizing that can burn out fast if I'm not grounded and if I'm too all over the place, which definitely been feeling that energy. So the 8 card is, where am I at on this journey? It's talking about the path. And the 7 of Pentacles. Yep. I could see that. So the 7 of Pentacles, I think of as a middle metal card. You've come a long way, but you still have a distance to go. You may be tired and uncertain and not even confident that you want to go the distance from here. And in this image, we have this feisty gardener. Look how small the gardener is compared to those crazy plants. And this feisty gardener is in the midst of hungry plants. These meat-eating plants are symbolic of an unusual situation that may require effort from a unique perspective. The card invites a pause, an evaluation of the current situation in terms of effort and return. Ask yourself, is this requiring more effort than I'm willing to exert at this time? Is it worth it? And to help evaluate the balance of effort and return, the guidebook talks about taking time to reflect on and identifying why you're doing it in the first place. So that's our Knight of Wands right here. And also what is objectively necessary to move forward towards the goal. And I always think of the Seven of Pentacles as a re-evaluation. So I often see this card when I'm near the completion of a work project and I'm just feeling beat down. And so when I see the Seven of Pentacles, I always ask myself, is there an easier way forward? Can I get help? Are my expectations even reasonable? So this card honors the in-between, the tending, the waiting, the evaluating, and the need to potentially recalibrate, which is resonating very loudly for me today. So what is the advice? What do I need to know? Okay, well, the Eight of Cards is about momentum. I often think of the Eight of Wands as messy, inspired action in the direction of your passion, of your heart's desire. So here in this image, we have a witch with 8 brooms, and the guidebook says the 8 brooms are returning, and she had sent them out to gather information about her path forward. So this card is about directing energy and the power of the combination of our air and fire when it's under control. And possibly also a caution of the combination of air and fire when it's out of control. And so I read this card as it's time to make progress, build momentum, but it doesn't need to be precise. It just needs to go in the right direction. And so more of that light-hearted approach, that light-hearted, gentle approach. So the outcome card, Lovers. Well, some people read the Lovers card as being about relationships. I don't. I read it being about alignment, soul's contentment, about having and making conscious, heart-aligned decisions. For me, the Lovers card invites us to be our whole selves and connected to our inner compass in integrity, and asks us not to compromise who we are to meet the expectations of others. So how do we bring this all together? Well, yesterday's card was the Hermit, which suggests one of the energies. Where did I put those cards? So one of the competing energies was the Hermit card. And that definitely has been a energy that has been pervasive through this whole project. And I think that this reading kind of feeds off that to indicate that this has been a time of deep inner work. Acknowledging the collapse of expectations here with the Tower card. Also acknowledging this Cross card here, the Ace of Swords, this desire for clarity. But at the heart of the matter, we have strength. And underneath, a deep desire for connection. So the path ahead, the moon, is dimly lit. So rather than charging ahead with rigid goals, I think the moon invites a walk or maybe a stroll ahead. And letting intuition guide me rather than being burdened by the Ten of Wands. Leave that behind. Leave that big, long list of goals and expectations behind and rather walk forward intuitively. I think the lessons, this Knight of Wands, reconnecting with inspiration and passion and my heart's desire. I think the Knight of Wands is also about passion. So finding joy in this journey without lighting your hair on fire. And right now, I do feel like I am precisely in the middle where I'm pausing and evaluating the work thus far. But I think the Seven of Pentacles also offers an encouragement that the work you've done so far isn't wasted. It's just considering if there's an easier way forward. What would this project look like if it were simple? What would this project look like if it was joyful? And I think the Eight of Wands is encouraging, because I think it's letting me know that momentum is going to return. And when it does, I'm encouraged to embrace the messy, inspired action. And also, this witch hasn't planned all of this. Like, it's just happening. So I don't need to plan it all out, but I just need to move forward in the right direction. And the outcome is exceedingly reassuring, because it suggests that through this last 44 days of the project, I will come into alignment with myself and my path. And I also think this outcome card suggests that the 111-day journey is about coming home to ourselves. It's about making a conscious choice to show up exactly as I am and choosing myself for the next 44 days. So, this has been a powerful reading for me. I hope that you've enjoyed coming along the journey. I will no longer be doing daily Wobble spreads, but my intention is to do week ahead spreads on Sundays, and then keeping that connection to the readings, and I'll keep putting them in the Coffee and Cards playlist. So I hope that you will join me. Please like the video if you do, and I hope to see you in the next video. Until then.